It's interesting to consider how deeply fans analyze these moments. In the past, they have scrutinized photographs, interviews, and appearances for clues about his relationships, his mood, and even his personal philosophies. With Johnny, people have learned that almost nothing is random. Every choice, every detail can carry meaning. The fact that they are doing this with a simple ring shows how attuned fans are to his subtleties. They're not just looking, they're observing, connecting dots, and crafting theories. In a way, it's a kind of collaborative storytelling. The audience becomes co-creators of the ongoing narrative of his life, even if the story itself remains private. And let's not forget the emotional aspect of this engagement. People feel a certain intimacy with Johnny, even if they've never met him. Watching him, following his career, and analyzing the small details of his life creates a sense of connection. It's almost like being allowed a peek into a secret world. When fans see that ring, they feel they're witnessing a moment that could be significant, something that few others will notice, but they did. It's exciting, it's personal, and it reinforces the admiration and fascination that has surrounded him for decades. Moreover, the discussion around the ring shows how much people care about his happiness and well-being. The speculation about Yulia Vlasova being his secret fiancée isn't just about gossip, it's about hope, curiosity, and care. Fans want to see Johnny happy. They want to understand who he chooses to be close to, who shares these moments with him, and how he navigates relationships while living such a high-profile life. That level of interest isn't superficial. It's a reflection of the deep impact he has on the public imagination. People see him as a multi-dimensional individual whose life is worth following closely, whose every gesture can inspire conversation, reflection, and even admiration. It's also a reminder of how symbolic small actions can be in the lives of public figures. Celebrities like Johnny often have to communicate subtly because the world is always watching. They can't always announce personal milestones openly, either by choice or necessity. A ring, a glance, a gesture, these things become shorthand for emotions and decisions that might otherwise be private. Fans instinctively understand that these subtle signals matter. They become storytellers, piecing together clues that offer a glimpse into a world that is usually hidden behind layers of fame and media. Scrutiny, another fascinating element, is how this engagement reflects cultural fascination with mystery. Johnny Depp has always cultivated a sense of enigma. People are drawn to mystery. It sparks curiosity, it encourages imagination, and it keeps people engaged over time. The ring, and the speculation around Yulia Vlasova, is a perfect example. It's a tiny, tangible detail that fans can anchor their curiosity to. It's a hook, a point of intrigue, a way for people to feel closer to someone who is otherwise untouchable in many ways. That sense of mystery is magnetic. It's why people continue to watch, read, discuss, and theorize. And then there's the aesthetic appeal. Johnny Depp has a unique style, a combination of eccentricity, elegance, and deliberate choice. Fans have always admired his attention to detail, whether in fashion, roles, or accessories. That makes a ring more than just a piece of jewelry. It becomes part of his persona, an extension of the image he curates publicly while keeping his private life mostly under wraps. Observing this detail is not just about curiosity, it's also about appreciation for his artistry in living life in his own distinct way. Finally, the conversation around the ring highlights the collective experience of fandom in the modern age. Social media allows fans to share observations, debate theories, and engage with others who are equally invested. A single photo, a single gesture, or a single accessory can become a viral topic. The discussion is amplified, enriched, and spread to millions of people. The fascination isn't isolated. It's communal. Fans are sharing in the joy of noticing subtle clues, interpreting them, and imagining the story behind them. It's an ongoing narrative that exists alongside Johnny's real life, a narrative fueled by attention, curiosity, and genuine admiration. In short, the ring is a small object, but the significance it carries is immense. It's a spark for imagination, a window into a mysterious life, and a reminder of why Johnny Depp continues to be such a compelling figure. His choices, his style, his art, and even his gestures are meaningful because he has consistently lived a life that inspires attention and speculation. Every detail, no matter how minor it may seem, becomes a part of the larger story fans love to follow. And in this way, Johnny Depp isn't just a celebrity, he's a living narrative. A figure who captures attention, sparks conversation, and keeps people thinking, imagining, and feeling connected in ways few others can. Some people might say, don't get carried away. It could just be a friendship. And yes, that's always possible. Not every interaction signals romance. But the way Johnny presents himself, the care he takes in keeping some things private, and the deliberate way he shows only certain details, makes fans wonder. It makes them ask questions. And those questions are what keeps the story alive. They're what make fans feel like they're part of the unfolding narrative, even if only from the sidelines. There's also a human element to all of this. Beyond the celebrity speculation, there's something relatable about noticing small details and trying to understand relationships. Everyone has moments where they pick up on subtle signs in the people around them. Maybe it's a friend, a family member, or even a stranger. Those small gestures often carry meaning, sometimes more than words could. And in Johnny Depp's case, fans are just magnifying that natural curiosity. They're connecting their instincts with the clues that are visible, trying to make sense of the story as it unfolds. It's also worth noting that this isn't the first time Johnny has been enigmatic about his personal life. He has always valued his privacy. He has always let the public see just enough to be intrigued, but not so much that everything is revealed. That's part of his charm. That's part of why moments like this ring on his finger cause such a stir. It's rare, it's subtle, and it's intriguing. It's a little peek into a life that is usually very guarded, and the beauty of it is that we may never know the full truth. That's part of what makes it exciting. The mystery is part of the experience. Fans are left to speculate, to imagine, and to create their own narratives based on the small clues that are available. It's almost like being part of a story that is still being written, where every detail, no matter how small, can have significance. And for a public figure like Johnny Depp, that's a rare and special dynamic between him and his audience. So what do we take from all of this? The ring, the appearances with Yulia Vlasova, the subtle gestures, the smiles, the laughter, they all add up to something that fans are paying attention to. Whether it's a hint at a secret engagement, a deep friendship, or something else entirely, the intrigue is undeniable. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest details carry the most weight. It's a reminder that in life, subtlety can be powerful. And in the world of celebrity, mystery is always captivating. At the end of the day, this story is about more than just speculation. It's about noticing the small things, appreciating the moments, and enjoying the mystery of someone's personal journey. It's about connecting with a public figure in a way that feels personal, even if from a distance. And for Johnny Depp, a man who has spent decades capturing hearts with his performances and his charisma, even a small gesture like a ring can ignite the imagination and the curiosity of millions. So what do you think? Is Yulia Vlasova Johnny Depp's secret fiancée? Or is it all just fan speculation? Maybe it's a little bit of both. The truth, as always, is likely known only to Johnny and those closest to him. But one thing is certain. The story has captured attention, sparked conversation, and reminded everyone why Johnny Depp continues to be such a fascinating figure. He's mysterious, intriguing, and always full of surprises. And fans everywhere are watching, waiting, and wondering, ready to catch every subtle hint he shares. You won't believe what Johnny Depp just did. Seriously, if you think you've seen everything from him, think again. Recently, he showed up at a public event, and all eyes weren't on his outfit, his hair, or even his signature charming smile. They were on his hand. Yes, that's right, his hand, and more specifically, the ring he was wearing. At first glance, you might think, okay, it's just a ring. But with Johnny Depp, nothing is ever just what it seems. Every small gesture, every tiny detail, every quiet moment seems to carry a little bit of mystery. A little hint that maybe there's more going on beneath the surface. Now, here's the thing. This ring has sparked a lot of conversation. People are speculating, guessing, and theorizing. Some fans are saying it could be a subtle announcement, a secret signal that Johnny Depp has someone special in his life. And the person in question? Yulia Vlasova. If you've never heard her name before, don't worry, you're not alone. She isn't a constant fixture in tabloids or on magazine covers. She's someone who has been seen with Johnny in some low-key appearances, mostly away from the public eye. And yet, there's something about their interactions that catches attention. The smiles, the laughter, the quiet moments where it seems like nothing else exists except the two of them. People notice those things. Even if it's just a fleeting moment in a photograph or a brief video clip. So let's break it down. First, the ring. Fans were quick to notice it because Johnny doesn't usually wear rings like that. It wasn't flashy or over the top, but it was noticeable enough to spark conversation. Now, some people might be saying, it's just fashion, don't read too much into it. Sure, that's a possibility. Rings are accessories after all, but here's the thing about Johnny Depp. He's always been a bit mysterious. From the way he chooses his roles, to the way he interacts in interviews, to the way he moves through public life, he's never been one to give everything away. A small gesture like wearing a ring can carry meaning, especially when you know how private he tends to be about his personal life. Next, let's talk about Yulia Vlasova. She's been by Johnny's side at a few appearances recently, but she's not someone you see plastered across every magazine cover. That makes this situation even more intriguing. When someone is consistently seen with Johnny, quietly, without making a huge public fuss, it naturally piques curiosity. The chemistry between them seems natural and effortless. They don't need grand gestures or over-the-top displays. It's subtle, but those subtle things are often the most telling. Fans have started piecing together the clues. It's almost like a puzzle. There's the ring, which could be a symbol. There's the way they interact. There's laughter, inside jokes, a sense of comfort when they're together. And of course there are the timing and the appearances. Every small appearance together feeds speculation, and the internet has been buzzing ever since. It's fascinating how a single detail can ignite a million theories. And the truth is, with someone like Johnny, it's almost impossible to say definitively what it means. He's a man who has lived much of his life under public scrutiny, and yet manages to keep certain things completely private. That's part of the allure. That's part of why fans can't stop talking about even the smallest gestures. Of course, there are people who argue against reading too much into this. They say, it's just a ring, don't overthink it. And that's valid. It could very well be nothing. Celebrities wear rings all the time, for style or for personal reasons that have nothing to do with relationships. But with Johnny Depp, fans have learned that he communicates in very subtle ways. He doesn't make grand announcements, doesn't stage public stunts, and doesn't post flashy declarations on social media. He lets small moments speak for themselves. So for fans and observers, a ring on his finger can feel like a message. It can feel like a hint. It can feel like a story waiting to be told. And then there's the body language. Observers and experts often point out that body language is a more reliable way to gauge relationships than public statements, especially when someone is as private as Johnny. The way he stands next to Yulia, the way he laughs at her jokes, the small, almost imperceptible touches, all of these things are signals. They're subtle, yes, but they're there. People notice them, because when you're looking closely, the small gestures often reveal the most. It's like reading between the lines. It's like noticing the pauses in a conversation. They tell you more than the words themselves. And in this case, every tiny gesture adds another layer to the mystery. Now, some might wonder why this even matters. Why do fans get so invested in guessing who Johnny Depp might be dating or whether he's engaged? Part of it is that Johnny has always been larger than life. His relationships, his roles, his style, his personal journey, fans are naturally curious. They want to understand the man behind the icon. And when a tiny detail like a ring or a shared smile comes into view, it's irresistible to speculate. It's not just gossip, it's a way of connecting with someone who has been a part of our cultural landscape for decades. The speculation about Yulia Vlasova. Being a secret fiancé isn't just idle chatter either. People look at the timing of appearances, the consistency of sightings, and the nature of their interactions. Every clue is analyzed. Every photograph is scrutinized. And while nothing has been confirmed, that's part of the excitement. That's part of the fun. The mystery keeps people talking, keeps them engaged, and keeps them imagining what could be happening behind the scenes. It's almost like watching a story unfold in real time, with every fan playing detective. Piecing together the puzzle bit by bit, celebrity relationship experts often point out that in situations like this, the little things matter more than the big things. A hand on the shoulder, a subtle laugh, a glance shared between two people. These are indicators that can reveal more than a press release ever could. Johnny Depp has mastered the art of subtlety. He doesn't need to announce anything loudly. The small gestures speak for him. And for those paying attention, those gestures tell a story that is just as compelling as any headline. And here's what makes this even more fascinating: the fact that a simple ring on Johnny Depp's hand has sparked such widespread discussion says a lot about the kind of connection people feel with him. Think about it for a second. This isn't just casual interest. People aren't paying attention because of idle gossip or random curiosity. They are genuinely invested in his life, his choices, and the small glimpses he gives into his personal world. And why is that? Because Johnny Depp is not just another celebrity. He's someone who has consistently captured the public imagination for decades, not just through his films, but through the way he presents himself, the roles he chooses, and the aura of mystery that seems to follow him everywhere. Johnny has always been a figure who thrives in contradictions. He's intensely private, yet his every public appearance is analyzed down to the smallest detail. He's a master of subtlety, and he understands that sometimes the smallest gestures speak louder than words. A ring, in this context, is not just jewelry, it's a potential statement, a tiny window into a life that fans rarely get to see. People notice it because they've learned to pay attention. They know that with Johnny, nothing is ever entirely casual. There's often a story behind what seems like the simplest detail. When fans see a ring, a smile, or even a brief interaction, they immediately start to wonder, what does this mean? Could it signal something significant in his personal life? Is it a gesture of commitment, a hint at a secret relationship, or just a fashion choice? These questions are natural, and they reveal the level of curiosity and admiration people have for him. Unlike many celebrities whose lives feel distant or staged, Johnny feels approachable through his art, his interviews, and even his public gestures. Every small detail becomes a piece of a larger puzzle, and fans feel a sense of participation, almost like they're part of the unfolding story. There's also something deeply human about why fans latch onto these details. People are naturally drawn to stories, and Johnny's life reads like one. He's an actor, a musician, and a personality with a rich history of highs and lows, triumphs and controversies. His career has been a roller coaster of extraordinary moments, from iconic roles like Captain Jack Sparrow to deeply personal struggles that have played out in the public eye. Because of this, even something as small as a ring can feel monumental. It becomes more than just a ring. It's a symbol, a prompt, a catalyst for imagination. Fans aren't just speculating about jewelry. They're speculating about the narrative of Johnny's life itself.